You are now watching a Lucky Penny Shop product feature.
Hey, it's Lucky Penny Shop, and it's time for the ultimate sand comparison video. We've got 6 different sands here, and I'm going to compare them all in one video. Now, if you want to see each of these individual ones, there's videos already in the channel, plus also some initial comparisons. But right now, it's the first time we're able to get all of them at one time. Now, the Moon Sand is the oldest one. That's from 2010. And it's the only non-natural color. See, they're all natural sands. We kind of wanted to compare all the naturals before we got into the colors. But this one here is the oldest, so we wanted to add it. Then we have the Whammo Squishy Sand, the Cra Z Sand, the Brookstone Sand, Sands Alive, and Kinetic Sand. So I've got 6 bowls. We're going to put each sand in each bowl and then compare them on the table, cut them up, chop them, mold them, and see how they all act. So let's get started. All right, I have all my sands in bowls here with their little sign, so if I move them around, I don't get anything mixed up. The first thing we can tell is that, of course, the Moon Sand doesn't really belong just yet. It's for final comparison because we're really comparing these new sands on the market here, that they're all different colors. Even though they're naturals, they all have a unique color to them. So that's on observation, the first thing we can point out. The second thing is I want to sniff them, and I'm going to do that right now. So the Squishy Sand smells very much like Crayola crayons. If you've ever used crayons, you would know what that smell is. Now the Cra Z Sand, that smells like, I don't know if you've ever been into a, well, you've probably been and bought shoes, like if you open a pack of shoes, like a gym shoe, and smell, that's the smell I get. The Brookstone, let me try that one. Now that kind of has like a little wet sand smell to it, but it's not strong. I can't say, oh, that smells exactly like. Let me do Kinetic. Now the Kinetic and the Brookstone have a very similar smell to them, but I can't say, ooh, that smells like that. Let me check out Sands Alive. Different than all of them. Can't really say it has a specific smell. It's probably the least recognizable. These two have the strongest and most unique smells. So let's move on to something else and maybe put them in a pile and check out another characteristic. Alright, so I thought maybe a good test would see how they drop and if they hold together. Basically the packing. So here is the Squishy Sand. So I'll repack each one before I drop it. Now I have a yardstick in the back, which kind of gives me an idea. So I'll try to drop it back here from about 20 inches, and you'll see it plop in the back. Here we go. Alright, so that one held together pretty good. Let me go a little higher. I'll go clearly up to about 3 feet. Alright, so that broke just a little bit. You see how flat it is? Let's go on to Brookstone. So I'll repack. About 20 inches. Okay, that one fell apart in my hand. Let me do that one again. There we go. Brookstone, about 20 inches. Alright, a little better. Now about 3 feet. That one actually bounced a little, not as flat. So Cra Z Sand, repack it. About 20 inches. Ooh, that one stood still. You see that? That's about how flat it was. So Squishy Sand so far has had the flattest side. And 3 feet. That one's held up pretty good. Let's do the Sands Alive. So we'll do this from about 20 inches. Okay, smushed. Closer to the Brookstone in regards to smushing. And then now let's do 3 feet. Okay, that's about the smush it had. And then Kinetic Sand. So I'll repack it. 20 inches. Bounced pretty good, actually. See, there is a difference. Now 3 feet. Okay, pretty good on that one. And then Moon Sand. I'm going to do the Moon Sand just because I have it. I'm going to say out of all of them, this one packs the hardest so far. We'll see how it bounces. Oh, not that much. And now 3 feet. So that one actually held pretty solid. All right, On to the next test. All right, here we go. It's time to cut. So I'll repack. And I do want to mention that all of these sands, if you let them sit out a while, like some of them, like the Sands Alive, if you let it sit out in the air, it seems to change its properties. Well, it definitely does. We found that in other videos. So these just came out all at the same time. So it's a good way for me to compare them than have them sit. So here, I'm going to cut this squishy sand. Here's squishy sand. You just kind of see how it cuts, and you can get an idea by cutting how it holds its shape. Okay. There's squishy sand. Now here's the Brookstone. So I'm going to pack them again. I've been repacking them every time. Same way. Here we go. Now this is definitely grainier, cuts differently. I can just feel it when the knife goes down. Seems to be a thicker grain to it. Again, that could be the sand, I guess. Alright, the last, the third one here is Cra Z Sand. I actually had to wash down my top here to get the blue out from that moon sand. Okay, now see, that one didn't even complete the cut. Seemed to be a little tougher, actually. Let's do the Sands Alive next. Let me clean it off. Here we go. Okay, so this one is probably the most, what do I want to say, unique in character in regards to the other ones. So it doesn't have that gritty kind of feel to it. And Kinetic Sand, let's do that one here. Ooh, pack that one better. Okay. Now it's packed. Okay, very crispy. Very much like the Brookstone. Much crispier. Seems to be coarser. So far, the Sands Alive is the smoothest, most unique. The Kinetic and the Brookstone are very much the same. And then the Squishy and the Cra Z Sand kind of have a similar mushiness to it. Here, well, let me pack this. Here's the Moon Sand. I'm afraid it's going to make another mess here. What do you think? That one's like the crispiest of them all. Now look, it's going to make a mess. Get out of here. Alright, so I need to clean up again, I guess. Come back and we'll try another test. Alright, so now I'm just going to take some sand and make a shape for each one. So we'll do squishy sand first. I'll just put it down here, press, and then cut out the shape. I'll get rid of the rest. Okay. I should be able to just put that back in its bowl. Or actually, I'll just set it off to the side. Alright, so that's the first shape. There is squishy sand. Alright, and then let's check out the Brookstone. So I'll just take some, plop it down. Remember, this is just a comparison video. If you want to see each of these sands, you know, where I kind of do a little bit more with each one in regards to showing how they move. I'll do some of that at the end here, but right now it's just comparison. Okay, didn't come out of the mold as nice. Let's try some Cra Z Sand. So what are we seeing right now? We're seeing that Sands Alive is the most unique in characteristics. It's different than all the other ones. Of course, Moon Sand is the messiest. This one came out of the mold the worst, the Cra Z Sand. Okay, now let's try Sands Alive. Here we go. Let's see how it holds when it comes out. Holds pretty good. And then Kinetic. Again, Kinetic and Brookstone, very similar, almost exactly the same in most of its characteristics so far that we've seen. You can just feel how that cuts. See how it's thicker, seems to hold really nice. And then let's do the Moon Sand, even though I know it's going to make a mess here. Trying to make them all the same thickness also. See, it's hardest to clean up. Alright, let's just pop that out of the mold. Let's just see if I can pick them up now. So squishy, Brookstone, Cra Z Sand, I can't even grab that one. Sand's alive, that one broke apart there in the back. Kinetic, look at that one, seems to hold up probably the best so far. And then Moon Sand. Okay, see that one kind of will crack. It won't kind of move in its own motion like some of these other sands will. Alright, so that is shaping. So now let me just get like each one and play with each one just a little bit so we can take a look at them, you know, one at a time. Alright, so here we go. It's squishy sand time. Now they're actually been packed in this bowl pretty good. So let me push each one down before I show it to you. See how it comes out. Pretty cool. Hey, let me just give it a little pat. You're a good squishy sand. Little cutting. Little reshaping here. Let's drop this big ball. And just watch it. Because that is the cool thing about these sands. There's squishy sand moving around. You know, when it's in your hands, it just feels really cool. A lot of people ask, what does it feel like? Well, it's sand kind of with a mushy feeling to it. It's hard to really say 100%, oh, it feels exactly like, because it's unique. It's a unique product, that's why. So let's build up a skinny, tall tower. Okay. Just press on it and see if it, at what point does it really doesn't need my help anymore to collapse it. All right. Slides through pretty good. I guess you could play tic-tac-toe with your squishy sand if you set up the game board right. Ooh, so you can play games with your squishy sand. Let me just put it in my hand now and just kind of move it around for you. Okay, what do you think? There's my squishy sand. Let me get set up for the next sand. Clean up a little bit. Be right back. All right, here's the Brookstone. It is completely different. No, I can't say completely. It is much different than the squishy sand. We've learned that now. It just seems to be a thicker grain. Build a big tower again. Okay, let's just take a look at that. I'm just kind of like beating it up, you know, seeing how nice it falls. We've had some people say, oh, it's just like Play-Doh. Well, it's definitely nothing like Play-Doh or any of those doughs. Let's see how it cuts. How's that in your ears, that sound, that going through the sand sound? Nice little pieces, look at that. A little more in my hands. Wow, this might end up being a long video. Well, we're kind of known for long videos, aren't we? I'm not looking forward to the moon sand. I don't know why. I have a feeling it's going to make a big mess. That's cool. Got to remember to do that with the other sands. Alright, there you go. Brookstone. Pretty cool. Let's move on to the Cra Z Sand. Alright, time for Cra Z Sand. Pushing it down, flipping it over. Good little sand. Is there something that you're noticing that I'm not in the sands? Leave it in the comments. I'm just trying to kind of do the similar things with each one. I have about the same amount of each. This one is fighting back. So far I think the Brookstone has fallen the nicest. This one kind of fought back a little. See that now? The way this one rips. We'll see it in my hand. Let me do this first. Try spreading it out and cutting it. It's a little bit different now, spreading it. Let's say this one's a little bit doughier. It's not doing that effect like the other sands if I just leave it. See that? Alright, that's Cra Z Sand. Let me do Sands Alive next. Alright, Sands Alive. Let's pack this in here. Let's flip it over. Ooh, look at that, sticking the best to the bowl. Ooh. Let's cut it. Okay, see, it's got definitely a different characteristic. Now this one, the last time we played with it, sat out much longer than this particular. When I made this video, I got them all pretty much out at the same time. So none of them really sat in the air. Look at that, it's holding its shape pretty good. Okay, so it has some of the falling characteristics. It seems to be definitely unique than the other ones. Let me flatten it out and cut it. Okay, see that? Didn't cut. at that, cool. This one has a lot of the characteristics, but then unique ones. The way it just holds, you know, after it sits too, it might even change a little bit more. This one cleans up really nice too. Look at that, see? Nice. Well, except when I smack it down on the table. Alright, so let me move on to the Kinetic Sand. Alright, Kinetic Sand. Now remember, this is going to be pretty much exactly like the Brookstone. Ooh, get off of there. Ooh. Do you hear that grittiness? I kind of like that sound. Let's see how this one falls. Kind of beating it up again. That has really nice flowing principles. Let's flatten it and cut it. Nice. Alright, there you go. That is the Kinetic. Alright, time for Moon Sand. Now that was the one individual size. This has got the least amount of all the sands. Oh, didn't even want to flip over. Let's see, let's cut you up here. Cut's nice. Let's see if it falls like the other sands. Yeah, see, it kind of falls over. It's got a little bit of it in there. I think, you know, it wasn't really the living sands when Moon Sand was out. It was, you know, it was unique. Let's just see. It has more of a pasty feel to it. I think the biggest thing with this was the cleanup. It didn't seem to want to clean up as nice. See, I'm grabbing it, but it doesn't want to completely stick. Let me see if I just do that. Let me just lay it flat like I did the other ones. That would be the last test. Okay, let's just cut. Didn't work well when you were cutting it straight, but it does cut really nice. See, it seems to be more blocky and falls apart, doesn't hold together as a unit like this. It's more crumbly. Alright, there you go. That is the Moon Sand. Not sure what I'm going to do next, but I'll be back. Alright, so the video is going to turn a little bit now to stuff that's not recommended by the manufacturers, but for curiosity's sake and people saying, what happens when you put it in water? Well, I've got 6 little bowls of water. I'm just going to take some of each, plop it in, and see what happens. Are you all curious? I'm curious. I don't know why, I'm just curious. And other people have been curious too, so it's time to make a new type of mess here. Okay, now it is in water. Let's just poke around a little bit. That one seems to stay. Stay. Okay, this one's dissolving a little bit and becoming a slurry. Let's check out this one. That one's actually floating. Staying. This one's dissolving. Okay. And this one, look, the Cra Z Sand has now a yellow liquid. So like I said, this is not recommended by the manufacturer, and it's for our own personal understanding. They definitely say do not put it in water for a reason. Okay, how about we do a close-up of each now? So let me readjust here. I'll move them in, get a nice close-up of each. All right, so here's the squishy sand. Looks like it's holding its own here. Little nuggets now. Okay. And then here's the Brookstone. Water's still nice and clear here. Doesn't seem to hold together as good as squishy sand in the water. Okay. Cra Z Sand. This one's got this weird yellow. Let me mix that in there. But look at that. Has a unique consistency, doesn't it? It's almost like it's taking in the water. Now look. And now become this goopy consistency. And then, oops, sorry about that. Sorry for your ears there. This one here, moon sand, seems to be floating. Almost like it's not getting wet. Interesting. And Kinetic. Let's check out Kinetic. Okay, so it's staying together. Looks like it's retaining some of the water, but not a lot. Interesting. And then the last one is Sands Alive. This one here. Ooh, it's like a paste. Interesting. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Remember, the manufacturers do not recommend you do this. Only an experienced sand handler should do it. Okay, there you go. That's pretty neat stuff. I actually kind of like it in the water. So again, the Cra Z Sand to me is the most interesting one. It seems like when you mix it, watch, it takes all the water in. See that? It's sloppy and goopy. I think I got to get my hands in this. Let me get a bigger bowl here and do a little bit more playtime. Alright, yes, I have a lot of glass bowls, so I'm going to take squishy sand and just play with it this way in my hand. Look at that, it's like a sponge. I would say I could probably isolate just the sand in this. Take it out, squish the water out, let it dry, and I'll probably be okay. Look at that, see? There. Interesting. Now, Brookstone. I'll pour it in my hand first to try to catch it. Okay, look at that. That's totally, almost looks like regular sand. That's lost all of its characteristics. Let me get a rag here. Oh, everything's gritty. And now, Cra Z Sand. Look at that. So it's still got some slimy characteristics. I'm just going to leave that in there. You know what? I'm going to put that in there. Alright, Sands Alive. Wipe off my hand. Ooh, look at that. It's like a goopy gelatinous. Ooh, check that out. That's kind of cool. If you like slimes. Look at that. Ooh, I'm making a nice sand slurry here. Okay, Alright, enough playing. Let me dump the Kinetic Sand in my hand. I think it's going to do the same as the Brookstone. Look at that. So yeah, see? It's broken up now. Look at that. Alright, I guess I'll dump in the moon sand, but I don't think the moon sand's going to do anything. Look. Still dry, still unique. Oh, nice. I bet you if I filter out the water, this would be pretty cool. But I won't be able to find that out today. Look at that. So that is all my 6 sands. Squishy. Not the best thing for my glass bowls. Is it sand? Alright, so that's that. Let me do a little cleanup here, come back. I think it's a good time to recap. Alright, so there are all 6 of the sands I tested today. And I can say, beyond a reasonable doubt, the Kinetic Sand and Brookstone Sand are very close in all properties except color. The Cra Z Sand and the Squishy Sand will probably be the next 2 closest. The Sand's Alive, the most unique out of all of them through all the tests. And then the Moon Sand, also the older product, completely different than the other sands. But I think that gives you a pretty good idea. I mean, if you have any one of these, you're going to have fun playing with it, and that's what it's all about. I took my slurry and emptied out the water a little bit. So that's why they don't recommend mixing your sands with water, because you really don't get anything usable out of it. Although it was fun to play with it initially. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, if you want to see any of these videos, there'll be links in the description, or you could also just search our channel. And thanks for watching. Later. If you're looking for the item you just saw in the video, click here. Watch more videos by clicking here. Don't forget to share on social media and give a thumbs up.
Hey, LPS Dave.
What's up, Butch?
Make sure they don't forget to subscribe.
Oh yeah, please click here to subscribe to Lucky Penny Shop. And always remember, when you see a lucky penny,
pick it up.
Thanks for watching.